bust the internet archives on this one. I'm driving back from Florida on my way to home, and I'm driving up 95, man. I'm driving from one part of the country to the other in the middle of this whole pandemic shit, whatever the fuck it's called. And it's crazy, man. So I'm just gonna speak a little bit about some more music stuff, because I've done a lot of music in my day. Probably somewhere in the couple thousands of songs that I've been a part of. I've played with everybody. There's stuff to talk about with all this stuff, and I'm setting it off, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I gotta do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna talk a little bit about Ali and the Cassius Clays. Tex Rich Ali, super dope MC from Newark, came into my life at a very interesting time during the Philadelphia Art Party days of 2010, 2011. Dubstep was doing its thing around that time, and we weren't really like playing a lot of dubstep, but like I have to make mention of that because there was a little bit of a reggae revival going on, and it was also happening through dubstep, and it was one of those crossover moments in the decade. Like 2010, 2011, things were still kind of like they were in 07. We were preserving them, and 06, 05, 04, we were preserving the times around that time period. And Ali, Tex Rich Ali versus Sid came in right at the right time and kind of slam dunked and solidified something for us by starting this new project with me called the Ali and the Cassius Clays, which the way that we came together on that project was really interesting, because I had a thing going with Jack Donnelly. We were doing a music thing called Reinhart and the Cast of Characters, and we were able to create an album, and we had just started playing out for that album, and then Ali came in and we kind of just linked up with him, and Drew Mann was around for that part of the run, and I think that part of the run was starting to morph and shift and change around that time, and we kind of solidified something for Havertown around that time period, because I was still riding the late night Drifters energy, which had turned into the Rick Reinhart and the Cast of Character stuff and all that, and it was like an energy that was changing. Like it's like being in a band and also having a solo project, but then when Ali came along, it was like, whoa, here's something new, and we knew we wanted to kind of see what was going on with all that, so that was cool. And Ali turned me on to KRS-One, which, I already knew some shit by, of course, but I was from a different era. I was from more of that, 92 to 96 era. Some of the 89, 90 stuff, but, more West Coast stuff. He was, schooling me on all kinds of shit around that time. And around that time, I was also really listening to a lot of Guru. So Guru, we did a tribute show out in Atlantic City for Guru after he passed, which is, there's links to that too, because me and Mark Klorowski were going to work with Guru at one point. We were talking about it. There was talks. It kind of reminded me of how the band was talking with Sonny Boy Williamson, and then he passed or whatever. It was kind of like that, but we all links in the chain of hip hop. So when I say that, I should say music, but we all links in the chain. I'm a link in the chain with hip hop. Sometimes you gotta narrow down on what's going on here. Tex Rich Ali is definitely a hip hop head, which is a good thing. I think it's very interesting to see live musicians play hip hop, especially cats that can pull it off, because my favorite stuff that I've done with Ali, and this is no disrespect to anything else that we've done other stuff besides hip hop, but mashing up reggae music and hip hop together, it's such an interesting combination, especially in this time period, because there's not a lot of people really doing it with a real MC who can also spit Jamaican shit, and Ali does it in his own way. So he's able to pull it off. You know, he could go Shabba Ranks if he wanted to. And I've always been into the MCs. There's so many different kinds of MCs out there. It's like there's MCs without dreadlocks from Jamaica. There's MCs who are locked up. You know, when I say locked up, I mean like they got locks. You know, and they're Americans. You know what I'm saying? There's all kinds of cool shit that goes on in hip hop, and if you just learn a little bit about it, you really find the true African American culture. And to me, that's always what I wanted to be a part of and represent. Not just African American, but just that whole good, real side of the African movement. Whether it be, Easy stuff or Pac stuff or, any of that, Cole 187 shit. To me, that shit has merit and value, and there's a royalness that I feel in that. And is it childhood nostalgia? Some of it, I've been studying more about childhood nostalgia and what it is, and why we end up following certain dreams. Childhood nostalgia is a very important part of all this stuff, especially in the time period we're in, because it's like my friend out Nigeria was telling me this shit. He was like, if the African god is kind of in slumber and we don't know when it's coming back because of all this crazy shit going on in the world, I've seen a lot of Rastas kind of come into their full-on potential in the music scene, and that's like almost more like being a god, you know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to the 5% kind of vibe, you know what I mean? Like there's almost that kind of vibe, and that's different than the African god that I grew up listening to and admiring through sound and power and knowledge. So it's not to say that this is right or wrong, but sometimes you got to hit them with this, sometimes you got to hit them with that, sometimes you got to just enjoy it while it's happening. Like when I'm thinking back on the old and living color days, and I'm just enjoying the fact that happened. I wish it could be every fucking moment of every day that we had some good shit popping like that. In a perfect world or in an ancient civilization, that might have been the case. But to me, it's all about the remembrance. And when I see that remembrance, it could be it could be like an African culture thing. It could be like in Peru when I see the cats come from the mountains and they're all, threaded up, man, with that good shit, and just coming from a whole different place. You can tell, it's just cool, man. And that's to me what it's all about at this point. When you can get a remembrance of some real culture, some real tribal shit. That's what it's all about. I like, I can get down on the Jesus tip without, being fucking like one of these fucking idiot Republican crazy fucking white devil shit. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever the fuck you want to call this shit, man. That Trump shit. I can get down on a level with indigenous cultures that goes way beyond any kind of what's the word I'm looking for? What is that shit called? Just call it religious corruption. So cool. So yeah, we were doing the Ali and the Cassius Clays shit at a very interesting time period. And I'm just going to talk about this because we started doing it in 2010, 2011. Obama was in office. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else, but I know at that point in my life, my world was upside down for a while. Almost, I don't know, we'll say 9 years or some shit like that of just trying to find my way back to, what makes me feel comfortable and makes me know that, that I'm who the fuck I am, you know what I mean? And, but a lot of that did have to do with all this politics shit, and a lot of that shit is playing out right now, and it's really interesting to kind of, like, get your answers with what the fuck was really going on. And I would say that the Republican Party was hijacked sometime, maybe when George Bush was leaving, because I felt it around that time. And, you know, so with the Tea Party, the evangelical Christians and the KKK getting their hands involved in the Republican Party through Donald Trump, that was so if there was stuff happening back at the end of the Bush era, I don't know exactly what it was. And, you know, I've heard a lot of different rumors about Obama just being used for you know, all this white supremacist agenda shit that we've been hearing about, and all this other shit. I can't really comment on that, and I don't know if I'm really qualified to say that, but I know that shit was really fucked up around that time. But I didn't really think that it was Obama's fault, but I didn't really think that Obama did enough for people here in America as far as, you know, in, you know, the African American community. That was just my own opinion, and it might not even be for me to speak on, but that's just how I feel. There's some interesting movements going on right now overseas in Africa that people should be paying attention to, because there's a lot of, you know, shit about the Obama-Gaddafi situation that happened, and I don't know what to make of it, because I'm just somebody who just lives here, so I'm doing the best I can to kind of just navigate through it all. But, you know, you gotta just look at all the crazy shit that was going on back then and how it's turned into what it is now. And, like, to understand, like, there are different sects in religion, sections, and to understand that some of these people do twist that shit, and then some of these other people, you know, just want to live their lives and, you know, live in that religious freedom. And then there's other people that don't want anything to do with religion, and I can't really, you know, say be this way or be that way, but all I can do is be my own self with my own DNA and enjoy life. So that's what I would recommend for anybody trying to figure out what they can do for the African movements that are going on. Is, you know, I'm just somebody who's just going to be honest and just navigate and find my way and not get in too deep, because I already know that all this shit is all fucked up. So I'm back to being just somebody who's learning again, opposed to somebody who was putting it down for hip-hop as a DJ. You know, later on I'll get into that, because the Ali and the Cassius Clay stuff led me to DJing, which I'll get into now. So I went on a run as G-Funk Child as a DJ, and I went on a run as Akeem the Dream, which is now turned into my new stage name, which would be Prince Reginald Akeem. That's my new African name when it comes to DJing. So okay, so this is what we're gonna do here. All right, so Ali and the Cassius Clays repped a certain kind of sound. I've realized the sound that I wanted to rep was a little different than that, and that's okay. But I've realized that if I don't do what I need to do, then it won't get done. So I started to DJ, and I started to do all this shit when it comes to West Coast hip hop. And you know, I've always felt like I was in contact with the ancestors and in contact with you know, just being a fan of you know, some real cats and some good cats. You know, I was lucky enough to see some shows in my day that really helped my understanding of hip hop. You know, I saw Young MC in Cali in '89, and if you look up Young MC, you'll realize some real crazy shit about him. Young MC was born of Jamaican parents in England who I believe moved to, I want to say he moved to the Bronx or Queens. I can't remember which one it was, but he was right in the mecca of it all, and then went to school out in Southern Cali. So this motherfucker is hip-hop when it really comes down to it, because, you know, if you trace the lineage of hip-hop, you know what I mean, you will see that a cat like that has all the right ingredients to really pull it off and to do it right. The only thing I'll say about Young MC was, you know, Flea is one of my dudes, so I hope that all gets resolved in all of that. And this is not to bring up old stuff. It's just, you know, to speak from, you know, man to man. You know what I mean? Love, you know, that Southern Cali shit so much. You know, I started to spin West Coast hip hop, and it didn't even start with just West Coast hip hop. It started as a whole. I was just gonna spin hip hop, and then the way that it all revealed itself to me through Vlad TV, through DJing, and through kind of like dosing myself with the old hip hop that I grew up listening to, and kind of re-experiencing that in my adulthood, second childhood. It was real interesting, man. It was really interesting, and I'm still in that good vibe from it. It's a really weird thing, because it's a really weird thing how that kind of power can really lead you back to where you need to be in a time period like this, when white supremacy and stuff like that is very prevalent, and even still an underbelly thing that has showed its ugly face more often than not over the last couple of years, or at least more often than people would like to see. And, you know, I can't even believe some of the motherfuckers that I grew up with and shit that are like on this tip or that tip. Like, I mean, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't play that shit. But so, with all that being said, DJ Akeem the Dream in the motherfucking house, saying I did what I came to do, and I am off to the next. And I hope that my work that I have done is looked at in a good light with hip hop, because I've been loving that shit ever since I was a kid. I'm just a rap fiend. That's all I am. All right, peace and love.